Hi friends, welcome to Comics Odyssey. I'm Ulysses, and today's video is a sketchbook tour. I filled up this one to the end and I bought a new one. Time to review my work that I did in this one. I've changed the design a little bit, but it's the same size, same paper and all that. I've been doing this size because I've been splitting my 11 by 17 comic book boards into 4 quarters and experimenting with the 4-panel grid. And this is roughly the size of 1 panel on a 4-panel grid on 11 by 17. So it helps me practice drawing in that size and smaller, right? So it's practicing drawing in the actual size that I would be drawing on 11 by 17. So that's why I'm getting this size. I opened strong. That would have been, there's some dates here. Looks like probably early February 2025. So this is roughly 2025 in review. With a sketch of the Flash. That was a lot of work. I looked up some manga poses. They're very dynamic, good foreshortening, because the Flash is all about dynamism and speed. Getting these letters planned was really tough. You see, I used some white media after, because I kept making lines where there was supposed to be white, but with a scan and bringing that in Photoshop, I could make a good trading card to sell with the next Spirit Girl comic, maybe. And just some pretty random sketches going out there. This is some notes that I did, just basically some world building. Yeah, just the lighting a little bit, so it's a little bit better. There was a monster I was trying to design for Spirit Girl 3, and I was looking at various sea creatures, and mixing them up with scorpions and eels, and ended up looking too much like the face hugger. I'm trying to make it kind of insectoid here, but it didn't really work. I really wanted it to be more like a blob, and I ended up finding an artist who does quite disturbing sculptures, and they look like blobs, like skin flesh blobs, and I used that to base my monster on. I ended up going with that design. I like it faceless, but it has limbs that come out of it. Very disturbing to look at. Just trying to practice some Spirit Girl. I think I was looking at J. Scott Campbell here. Forest Ranger Dave is looking too old here. Trying to, make him, kind of square, manly looking guy. Just practicing faces, eyes, facial features, mostly focusing on the eyes here. This is a character, my friend K.M. Carroll. She has a comic book series on Substack. There's a character in her comic book called Ruby, and on the Comics Odyssey Discord, she was sharing this character, and some of us were drawing it, so I tried my hand at it. First I did a pencil sketch, and then I was just practicing inks, so I went over later and did inks. It came out okay. I really like this line. It's kind of a very loose line here. This is mostly like an ink practice, trying to warm up. I was doing these ink blobs, trying to find like a pattern in them. Just something for, creativity exercise, I guess. What you do is you drop some ink wash, which is the jug of water that I use to clean my brushes and my ink nibs in, and it eventually becomes very dark water. When it dries gray like this. So you just like drop some blobs of water on there, and then you take a straw and you blow on it in various directions. So I ended up with just these lines here, and turned it into eyelashes and an eye. Working on some more character designs. A journalist, Tyreus Bothry. I've got some plans for him, and long-term plans. And it's also, shading practice. He's based on an actual Turkish-Canadian journalist, anti-corruption journalist, Mocha Berzigan. I wanted that kind of name, Tyreus Bothry, and this is also an anagram of another great Canadian, Troy Hurtubise. So, yeah, character design. And this is, I got obsessed with matadors for a while. I was watching bullfighters, and I just thought they were so amazing, and the poses they do and the costumes they wear are just quite brilliant. So I practiced bullfighters for a while. So now we're in March, so we're a month into the sketchbook here. I love the machismo and the bravado and of the bullfighting sport is quite amazing. And what's cool about the bullfighter is that you can give him a cape, which is quite dramatic, but he's not wearing a cape, so it's not like tropey. So you still got a cape, but he doesn't look like a superhero-y cape, but you can still do these dramatic lines. Anatomy study. Some more anatomy study. These are just exercises, warming up for the day. Figure study. You got to practice the back too. You can't just practice the front. You got to practice the body in various poses. I was reading Silmarillion, and I wanted to draw Melkor like as I see him in my head, sort of. And the idea is that he carries a darkness with him. So I was playing around with the inks here. I went to so we're here mid-March. I went to a garden center, and I got pretty interested in those cacti, drawing the cacti. As a guitar player, probably looking on something on Pinterest, just trying to practice loose lines, cartooning. Snoop Dogg. I like how that one turned out. The character came out like that. His personality is, that's got a lot of character. I'm just trying to stay loose, right? Another figure study. I was drawing an old statue. If you look at Roman statues, old statues in Italy or France or whatever, the poses are quite dramatic. And because tourists are taking pictures from below, because it's a large statue, you get like these dramatic angles that you can play with. Daredevil. The Holy Mother. Just trying to mix it up, Don't always draw the same subject. Don't always draw the same thing. Look at different things. Look at icon art, different periods of history, and try to copy that. Some more matador. Going back to the matador. These sorts of poses, I just love those poses, those macho poses, And here, a lot of prep for Spirit Girl 3. Trying to draw goats from different angles, practicing goat heads. clouds, explosions, different ways of drawing smoke. Just to practice. These are, loose sketches of fighters. Another figure study. It's a lot of figures. As you can see, from one day to the next, or from one sketch to the next. We're here on April 6th. This one came out okay. Having a hard time here, April 14th. So it's an up and down process, practicing art. This is kind of thumbnailing, trying to think of some cover ideas. None of them made the cut. This is a castle. I was trying to draw an establishing shot in Spirit Girl 3. I drew the whole page, ended up cutting it. Plein air, trying to draw rocks. They don't have to look like the thing. It's the idea is you're practicing a different technique. Just going out in nature, drawing what you see. Another Spirit Girl here, trying to get a better grasp of the character of Spirit Girl, and getting more into her life to just really get a feel for who she is, this farm girl, right? This would be like a quiet moment while working on the farm, maybe haying the fields. Here, notes. So I've got issues Spirit Girl 1 to 24 planned out, give or take some issues, right? So I've basically written all the story beats for this 24 Spirit Girl issue plan. 1 to 4 is the one I'm working on, and then 5 to roughly 11, more or less, are going to be one-shots. If I think of more one-shots, I'll do it again. And then there's maybe I'm trying to think like a large arc, and then once in a while you get an issue that kind of like X-Files style, episodic and serialized blend, where once in a while you get an episode that pushes the overarching arc forward, where most of the episodes are going to be one-shots. And here's some studies of these are it's an old beekeeper uniform, like medieval beekeeper uniform. I was just studying that, and I turned it into a villain character. So we'll be drawing that quite a bit more, because he's going to appear in Spirit Girl 5. More character designs from an RPG game I was playing. Just playing around, right? Kind of urban parkour type of character. Bear with a cape. These are just play. Just seeing, what's going to come out. Not super planned out, just drawing my wife, see how it comes out. It sort of looks like her, but I'm not very good at likenesses. Another plein air location, drawing the mountain. This is really good practice, I suggest. Little plain. Go out in nature and draw things. Again, trying to do dynamism. Practicing masking, so I put this sticky tape over top here, the figure, and I do splatter. Add texture. Another plein air. So we're in June here. I believe I was kind of on vacation here, and I went out and drew the local sites. I don't know what I'm doing here. Visited a local farm, drew the tractor, right? And this is quite a relaxing practice, and you're not taking out erasers and pens or anything. You got one pencil, just maybe 2. Just pretty much get everything done there. And people are quite interested when you start drawing out out and about. They're curious. They start gawking, and they usually don't have the guts to ask, "Oh, what are you drawing?" There's another character design I'm working on. This will not be the end product, but just trying to. It's more like trying to get into the tone of the character and the spirit of it. Change it up. Draw some animals here. Robotic hand. Practice inking. I'm just practicing a black metal logo here. I ended up going a different direction with it, but it's roughly the same idea, this oval design. There's going to be a time lapse coming up at some point when I introduce this character. More world building, map making. This was in a consultation session with a geographer friend. He's got a master's in geography. And I find speaking with him and looking at a map is quite generative. And I really want to get the idea of the town of Hairy Bear, which is where Spirit Girl and all the characters are going to be living. It's going to be like the first crop of stories are going to be centered on this town. So I'm listing all the things that I want there, all the different districts I'd like, and I'm going to take this, I've already started, and I'm going to go very large with it and start drawing that map. And I'm planning to go quite detailed with it. I'm thinking maybe after Spirit Girl 4, I'll take a break and from making comics and work on this map. But we'll see. More plein air. Different location in my province. A little cave we found hiking. This is an exercise of drawing a figure without lifting your pen. So we're in September here. Some more world building, and pretty much getting to the end here. So we're getting pretty close to now. This is a rejected idea for Comics Odyssey podcast logo. Trying to go with a Centurion look, but integrating that with a maple leaf. But I decided to go more universal with it, and drew a boat that has a word balloon for a sail. It's got 2 guys in it because 2 guys on the podcast. Refined version of this, and final version, which got scanned and put in Photoshop and animated, and that's what you see at the beginning of the videos. Yeah, we're pretty much to now. Figure studies, you gotta figure study a lot. You gotta figure study a lot more than this. You gotta keep going. So, that's the sketchbook tour. Thanks for sticking around with me. Appreciate it. See you probably another 6 months to a year for once I've filled up the next sketchbook. Spirit Girl comics, available digitally. Spirit Girl 1 and 2 for just $1 is going to be a link below. And working on Spirit Girl 3 now, which will go on sale. I'm hoping around Christmas time, but we'll see how it goes. I'm not going to rush it. Rather put out good comics and not create deadlines for myself, and work on quality for now. So as I'm learning this process. For those of you who don't know, we got a podcast, Comics Odyssey Podcast, where we do deep dives in comic books at least once a week. We might be doing more frequently now. And there's a newsletter. It's all linked below. You can support us at 50% discount. The link below ends up being $2.50 a month, which is really cheap, and that'll help us out, help us keep the lights on. Thanks for your attention. I'll see you in the next one. God bless.